Why would they be... By the ways, I have very important question. It means life and death. What is your favorite color? I want answer now. Fine. It's purple. Why is there a timer? Why is that a quick time? What's your favorite color event? Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoit Duvit, and today I want to play a game that's part of the Monstrous Desires game jam, and also a game from the developer of Mushroom Oasis, called ASTRONOUGHT. Vessel. Bidadari? Bidadari. 221. Designation? Mechanic. Please input crewmate identification. I am Espoit means hope in French. Ah! The moment my eyes flicked open, I instantly knew something was wrong. Bright red lights flooded the ambience within my private quarters, leaving everything looking blood-soaked and gruesome. For a second, there was a pulse of fear in my chest before it faded, my logic stifling my instincts, telling me it was too soon to panic. I don't know, you wake up to a red room, that's a good time to panic. Despite how the crimson hue signaled danger all around me, it was better to keep my head on straight. My hand reached up to scratch an uncomfortable itch on my collar, only to find my arm was caught underneath my toppled desk. Ugh. Luckily, my suit cushioned most of the impact, leaving a dull ache and nothing more. Grunting with effort, I kicked off the offending furniture and sat up to assess everything, fixing my visor over my eyes. I casted a quick glance around my room. Some furniture toppled on their sides, and my usually neat shelf of books and trinkets chaotic and disorganized. Did the ship crash into something while I was asleep? And how did I sleep through that? Usually there was a piercing alarm accompanying the emergency lights, but oddly enough, it's gone quiet. Either I slept through it somehow, or something else happened for it to malfunction. As the person in charge of repairs and maintenance, that didn't bode well to me in the slightest. Just the sheer volume of that siren should have woken me up. Sigh? I called out to the room, expecting a matronly, if a little stoic voice to respond back. Delayed response from the ship's AI weren't common, but they still could happen. As a spacecraft shipping nothing but Earthian pet supplies across the galaxy, we weren't really working with the most advanced tech there is. Not to mention the budget cuts. Oh, so this is the Pony Express. I sighed, already feeling a migraine forming in the back of my head. Sai, can you respond, please? Still nothing. I clicked my tongue. That's not a good start. I inhaled deeply and stood up to exit my room, my boots clunking down the hall, the only accompaniment I had as I made my way to the main console. Reminded of how much I dislike, spaceship horror. It's almost as bad as submarine horror. Along the way, I didn't see any signs of disturbance, not like the one in my room at least. I scratched at my arm, keeping a lookout for any trouble. Everything seemed to be business as usual. Other than the emergency lights, that is. A nagging thought crept into my head. While I wanted to take the current situation seriously, I couldn't help feeling skeptical. Was it another one of their pranks again? It's been a few months of me working for this company. I was expecting the hazing phase to die out any day now. Or at least, I hoped it would eventually. There's only so many ways one can keep themselves entertained on a shipping vessel months into a trip, I suppose. I just hated the fact that I was one of those ways. Regardless, whatever's happening is worth investigating, awful co-workers or not. I could only hope I got out of this one without any lasting trouble. I have a feeling that there's going to be some lasting trouble. Reaching the main console of the ship, I frowned at the absence of my crewmates. It was getting a little ridiculous how quiet the space was, other than the ambient humming and occasional blips from the console. At first, I didn't want to feel offended at the fact nobody came to fetch me if it was a possible emergency, but the greeting silence only formed a pit in my stomach. Captain? Anyone? Is this another disappearing bit? Because it wasn't funny the last 2 times either. The lights are a nice touch, though. No stifled chortles, no snarky quips. Bristling from the quiet, I called out again. Come on, guys. I'd rather you insult me than have me in the dark like this. Oh no! Where are my boys and girls at? Nothing. I sighed and shuffled over to the main panel. Pulling the lever to disable the emergency lights, the dark, gory tint of the room fades away into its usual sterile white. Ooh. Glad to see that's working fine. Standing there, I expected someone to at least reveal themselves already. It's like a game of chicken to see if I'll break down first. I folded my arms, standing awkwardly in the center of the room. Nothing but absolute stifling silence. Guys? With every passing second, a heavy sense of trepidation grew. I swallowed down the inevitability. I had to accept that it wasn't a practical joke after all, shuffling to the console hurriedly. I checked the rest of the systems. Artificial gravity, navigation, communications. My brows furrowed as I squinted down at all the panels. It's like everything was reset. I perked up as I caught sight of the reboot logo for the ship thrumming back and forth on one of the screens. Psi-AP. Psi-AP must be restarting. I waited impatiently for the familiar dinky chime to ring through the speakers. Psi? Hello. The low, droning voice was littered with more static than usual. I was just glad to hear someone talk back. Oh, thank gods. Is everything all right? You don't sound too good. The current state of my systems are suboptimal. Several of my primary functions are disabled or inoperable. I recommend repairs immediately. I'll get right on that once I figure out what's going on. I fidgeted with my tool belt as I thought of something simple to ask. What happened to the ship, or where is everyone? Where is everybody? One crew member accounted for. Just one? That was concerning. Is it me? Am I the one? There's supposed to be 5 of us. Can you, scan for anyone else? Negative. What? Why? As I have mentioned, I am in dire need of repairs. My biometric scanners are inoperable. My tracking systems are inoperable. My surveillance... Okay, I get it. We're bone screwed. What could possibly cause so much damage in my sleep? What happened to the ship? There was a short pause before Sai was able to respond. Significant impact was detected against rear exterior of the ship. My brows raised. We hit something? Affirmative. I grimaced, my worst fear coming true. I was really hoping that wasn't the case. Does that mean I gotta go outside? I don't want to go outside. There's space outside. And how long ago? Approximately 24 minutes ago. And I was passed out on the floor the entire time? This might be more serious than I thought. Okay, that answers that. How bad is it? Unknown. Manual assessment required. I gulped, my breath stilling for a second. The thought of having to leave the safety of the ship and crawl along the outside tethered by nothing but a flimsy cable to inspect damage. Who knows how bad? That's my 5 out of 10 nightmares. I leaned forward as a nervous laugh spilled between my teeth, hands gripping the edge of the console to steady myself. I'll get to it later.
External.
I said I'll get to it later.
I do not recommend postponing the repairs. It is affecting my performance significantly lately.
I'm not postponing. I'm just building up to it.
Procrastination detected.
Drop it, Sigh.
Very well.
Deep down, I knew it was foolish to disregard Sigh's advice. I was the mechanic, for God's sakes. Fixing things was the entire point of me being hired onto this crew. I didn't need a semi-advanced AI to tell me that. I turned my attention back to the console. My eyes were glued to that big red button right at the edge, my hand twitching with the urge to press it. Maybe it was too soon to panic, but with everything going on, I was stumped on what to do. I held back, clenching my hands into fists so tight I could hear my gloves squeak. If I pressed that button and made a fool of myself, not a single person on this vessel would let me live it down. Dread forming in my throat, I dragged my boots across the floor, ignoring the tremors in my hands as I prepared to head to the loading bay. Pausing at the door, I threw out one last question to the air. We're not in imminent danger, are we? Sigh. Yes, Sigh. Are we in danger?
Error.
I pinched my brows, gathering whatever courage I had. Astrophobia be darned. I had to do my job. Oh, is that what that's called? When you don't want to be floating around in space on a string? Traversing down the halls, I kept an eye out for any signs of my crew members. While repairing the Bidadari was my main priority at the moment. It didn't hurt to see if I could find any of my absent colleagues. Or pieces of them. Plus, I wasn't really thrilled with the idea of leaving the ship without someone watching my back. Maybe I was still holding on to the hope that this was all some sick joke. They just upped the game with their pranks is all, seeing as they haven't gotten a decent reaction out of me in a while. Lay on the floor and pretend to cry. But you won't be pretending. They couldn't have possibly abandoned me, right? Just as my thoughts were about to spiral into negative territory, I heard faint footsteps from down the hall. My head whipped to the side, just in time for me to catch a glimpse of one of my crewmates donned in one of the external suits. Were they from the loading bay? The helmet shone against the bright light, obscuring the wearer inside as they darted out of sight. If there's a skeleton in that spacesuit, I will scream so loud and totally lose my marbles. My hope rekindled, I quickly pursued them down the hall. Hey! I turned the corner just to see their back in time. Hey, wait up! They instantly stopped, spinning on their heel and staring back at me with a rigid spine. I couldn't see their eyes from behind the darkened glass, but I could feel the weight of their gaze. I looked down at the name tag on their suit, but it seemed to have been ripped off. Whoever it was, I didn't care. I'm so glad I finally found someone. I was this close to thinking... I hesitated, biting down on my tongue. I couldn't show this person I was freaking out. Absolutely not. Anyway, where's everyone else? Do you know where they are? They stood completely still, seeming to tremble slightly. Kuma? Their voice came out muffled. What? Hang on, let me just... I reached over to flick the mic on their helmet. They paused for a moment before speaking once more, their hesitant voice ringing through. Luna? That's better. They seemed to vibrate with excitement. Ah! Delight! Amazing to see you! Amazing to... I looked over their frame, trying to pinpoint their height or look for any indicator that I knew who this was. Whoever it was, they were pretty short. Is that you, Marcus? They bristled as if offended. The doctor? Ew. He is smelly like the meteor slugs and star debris. Okay. Oh. Smelly like star debris. Is that you, Kiara? They scoffed. Nosy cook. She is smelly too. Oh, who could this possibly be? Based on their attitude so far, it didn't seem like it was anyone I recognized. How are you gonna sneak onto a spaceship? I clawed my brain for another hint. I'm pretty sure that's not you, Ben. They made an indignant noise. I am none of your friends. None of my... Oh. Are you, that new recruit we got a few days ago? What a terrible time for introductions. I definitely heard in passing between gossips, management sent us yet another new member for our small crew. They're usually considered an extra set of hands around the ship. Something about training on the job. I felt bad. They're probably being paid pennies for a position that wasn't even permanent. Not to mention ending up in a busted ship days after arriving. Normally, in 2 months they'll be dropped off at the next depot, and we'll be picking up a new stranger in their place. At least if things went well and the ship doesn't explode. I hide the guilt in my eyes behind a smile. In that case, I don't think we've met. I'm usually so busy running around the ship doing other people's errands. Anyways, I'm Espoir. I held out my hand. And you are? They freeze again, staring at my hand as if expecting it to grow teeth and start snapping at them. Luna, you will shake my hand? Their hand darted out to grip mine tightly, squeezing so hard I let out an involuntary yelp. Hey, watch the grip! They quickly released my hand, recoiling. Ah, mistake. Sorry, I mean to say Espoir. I did not mean to meet you so soon. I was still in middle of cleaning. Cleaning? I raised a brow. Since when did we start hiring janitors? They gave a terse, awkward laugh, like the tittering of a bird call. I don't even know what that would sound like. Not the kind of cleaning I talk about, but yes. Okay. For the life of me, I couldn't pinpoint what accent they spoke in. I'm sorry, what was your name again? They stilled. I did not... They looked around before pointing at my tool belt excitedly. You will call me Wrench. I blinked behind my visor. Pardon? Wrench? Yes. Wrench, question mark. Yes, like the shiny thing on your hip. Look full. I glanced down at it before regarding them with an incredulous squint. My colleagues probably put them up to this. I am not calling you that. They deflated, shoulders sinking in disappointment. Not Wrench. Oh, fine. You will call me... Atom. Adam? Atom. They gave a huffy sigh, arms akimbo. You are a tiny bit deaf. I will remember. I'm not... When did they start hiring such eccentric members? I think he's adorable. What kind of name is Adam, anyway? At least it was better than Wrench. Hey, Wrench is a cool name. I shook my head, resisting the urge to just turn around and leave. You didn't answer me, though. Do you know where everyone else is? They shrugged, teetering back and forth on their toes. I have not seen them. They might be hiding. I narrowed my eyes in doubt. Why would they be... By the ways, I have very important question. It means life and death. What? What is it? What is your favorite color? What? What is your favorite color? Jeez, relax. I want answer now. Fine. It's purple. Why was there a timer? Why was that a quick time? What's your favorite color event? Royal. Purple like dazzling dust ring. Very elegant. I will remember. They're adorable. I've only known Adam for 20 minutes, but if anything happens to them, I'm crashing this ship. They are adorable. I love them. I sputtered, giving them a deadpan look. What are you, 12? We don't have time for this. I am 6 moons old, actually. Stop messing around. Look, I don't know what your deal is, but we have missing crewmates and a malfunctioning ship. Oh yeah, that is kind of important. How are you not freaking out is beyond me, but could you please get your head on straight and help me figure this out? They stayed silent, barely moving a muscle. My glare falters. Maybe I was a little harsh. At least until they started clapping their hands with a soft giggle. Inspire! I will help you to the ends of galaxy, Luna. It's Espoir. I mean, you could call me Luna. It's one of my favorite names. Because I watched Sailor Moon when I was 10. Espoir. Of course. Silly the me. He's precious. He, she, they, or them are precious. I huffed, resisting the urge to rub my temples. But then again, if it's a life-or-death situation with a malfunctioning ship, I think how adorable your crewmate is acting is the least of your worries. Rookies. Were they under the impression that I was someone important? Still, the presence of one strange individual as company was better than none at all. Where was I? Oh, right. Loading bay, exosuit, fixing ship. Going outside, into the vastness of space, with nothing but a string. 3 simple things. I cleared my throat, hiding my anxiety as my arm gestured towards the opposite of the hall where they were headed. I need someone to watch my back while I go outside. They perked up. Outside? You would like to swim? I frowned at their strange analogy before nodding. Yeah. Sai told me there was some damage. Who is Sai? I blinked. The AI of the ship. Of course. The I. But there is no need, Luna. I already fix. You did? I was wondering why they were wearing the suit. It had to be for a reason. Hang on, I thought you were cleaning. I have many talents. Skillful. That's great. I guess I don't have to, then. I stood there, awkwardly, rerouting my priorities now that one major task was taken care of. Oh, so I don't gotta go outside? Oh, that's good. I had to admit, I was relieved. Anything to keep me the furthest I could be from the vastness of space! I guess all that's left is to find the others. They didn't seem too happy about that. Others? Why? Why? Is that even worth asking? They lifted their head as if to give me a passive-aggressive look behind their dark helmet. I am sure they are around. Wasting. It didn't take a genius to figure out how Adam felt about the rest of the team. Did they bully you? Did they bully you for being adorable, Adam? My coworkers must have been giving them the newbie treatment. Hate their guts, huh? They tittered quietly. Their guts. Yes. But you care, so I will follow. Hopping on their foot, they clapped their hands once more. It will be chance for me to know you better, Luna. Is Luna like his catchphrase, like you know how some characters in anime will end a sentence with a specific word? Like in Fushigi Yugi, Chichiri would end his sentences with noda, or you know in the English version. Is I don't remember what that's called, but is Luna his, her, she, or they, them, their little end catchphrase? What is that called? I can never remember what that's called. But it's adorable and I love it. Don't give me any reason not to trust you, Adam. Espoir. Espoir! I sighed, turning around to start heading towards the cabins. Let's go. Let us. Oh, precious. Hours. Hours of searching up and down the sideways. We looked through every possible nook and cranny of this ship I could think of, picked clean as a carcass. Am I going insane? Or did they really actually abandon me? Now, I know there's some shenanigans going on here, but it could be that there was an emergency. They all left, and they just didn't get to me in time. They could have abandoned me, like they could have taken some kind of rescue thing back and just kind of left me behind. That's possible, but I'm pretty sure it was shenanigans. Something bad happened. But I don't know what. I don't understand. Where could they be? 'Cause we wouldn't find, like, their suits or anything? Adam fiddled with their glove, humming an incoherent tune. Gone. I inhaled shakily, digging my hand through my hair. How? They're primetime jerks, but this is too much. They couldn't have just ditched me, could they? I don't know how space works. I'm not a big spaceship person. Are there, like, little rescue things, like, on a ship? I don't know. Where would they even go? Do not fret, Luna. You are not alone. You have me. My eye twitched. That's not as big as a reassurance as you think it is. Papa! Would you like to eat? I think you should eat. Humans feel better after food, yes? What, do you cook now too, next to cleaning and fixing? I do many things. I couldn't muster up the energy to even sigh. We already have Kiara handling our meals. They sputtered as if I just spat on their boot. Her food is inferior, hardly crunchy. I paused for a moment, wondering if I should question them further, but decided it wasn't worth the interrogation. If you say so. So you're a janitor, mechanic, and cook? What planet did they pick you up from, huh? They flicked their wrists as if I've given them a compliment. Rejoice! I am very talented. I can do anything for you, Luna. Anything except find our crewmates, apparently. They shrugged nonchalantly. Not a care in the world. Their apathy was something to behold. It wasn't my place to judge, but I couldn't help but feel suspicious. You certainly meet a lot of different types of people working this job. I straightened. Adam did mention they fixed the ship, didn't they? I figured asking Sai again would be worth a shot. Not to mention, for these cases, maybe it was about time to look through the logs. Let's head back to Maine. Maybe I can figure out what happened here. They give an enthusiastic double thumbs up, eager to follow close with a pep in their step. Aw, if we weren't in possible danger, I would think you were adorable. I was still deciding whether I preferred being alone or not. Count my blessings, I suppose. We entered the main console, my steps leading me to the archives unit. Keying in my ID, I scrolled through the past few hours, only to feel my heart shrivel, freeze, and drop in the span of a second. Every single log file in existence was corrupted. Even the backups of those backups. That almost seems like somebody did that on purpose. How could it? Hey, Espoir, I actually just remember another life and death question. Let me get my mouse ready. Not now, Adam. My fingers work the keys, digging around for something. Anything. Adam fidgets and shuffles beside me. But it is very important. I mean it very much this time. I said not now. Is he going to tap on my shoulder and say, there is something horrendous behind us? They made another indignant noise, mumbling under their breath. Grumpy. I will remember. Other than that, they seemed to stay put, watching me closely as I agonized over the console. Where is everything? Uh-oh. I yelped as the console sparks, static riddling the screen before it turned off completely. What? No! I could only stare back at my reflection, wisps of smoke curling between the crevices of the keys. Adam leaned over my shoulder to take a peek. Do you have time for life and death question now? I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply, counting to 3 before exhaling out. Alright, listen, sweetheart. You're starting to get on my nerves a little bit. What is it? Adam made a happy noise, glad to have my attention again. What can you eat? I furrowed my brows. What do you mean? They chuffed impatiently, tapping their foot. What can you eat? What can you eat without dying horrible, painful, choking death? Will you explode like Craterbug if I give you the... Why you gotta say it like that? I can't... Oh no. This is just like that time. This is just like that time in the game To Eat a God when Nola wanted to put the spheres in my mouth. Okay. Whew. Come on. Where? The ship's probably breaking. We gotta do this seriously. I gotta read this seriously for the sake of everything in space. Will you explode like Craterbug if I give you the nut? Or your gut will fail and liquefy if I give you a lactose. Oh, he's asking me if I have any food allergies. Okay. Atom, my dear, I'm gonna have to ask you to never say the words the and nut next to each other. Okay? Were they asking if I had any allergies? They mentioned something about cooking, didn't they? Our dietary information and restrictions are in our files. You didn't think to check? I could hear the pout in their voice. Reading will take time. You will tell me now. Gotta love a person who's direct. I roll my eyes, irritation clear on my face. If it gets you off my back. Yeah, I can eat pretty much anything, except sunflower seeds. And I'm also slightly lactose intolerant, but that's not gonna stop me. Convenient! I will remember. I fixed them with a pointed look. Aren't you worried, Adam? Where is everyone else? Shouldn't you be asking about their favorite colors and their tummy problems too? At the question, their demeanor shifted. No, they starve. The dead seriousness in their voice completely threw me off. It was full of stone-cold malice, unlike anything I've ever heard from them. I know they can be real insufferable at times. Trust me, I know. But the fact they're missing is still a huge concern. They folded their arms, a rising heat in their tone. They are mean and bossy and kick you around. The captain, she is the worst. I will never forgive her. I blinked, wondering where the heck that even came from. How did you... I shook my head, my frustration rising with every second of interaction with this newbie. That doesn't matter. This entire situation is wrong. Can't you see that? They shrugged. Everything I want to care about is right here. Never mind. I glanced over the control panel, eyes scanning over the buttons and dials, before landing on that very, very enticing big red button. The shiny candy-like button. I walked towards it. What are you doing? Calling for help. Captain always says not to press it unless necessary, but circumstances are dire. Ah! Or at least I would, if the big red button didn't burst into sparks and smoke just as my fingertips reached for it. Adam! Adam! Are you doing this somehow? I was looking at the screens, and you were trying to get my attention, and then they suddenly break. I was looking at that button, and then it suddenly breaks. Adam! I stared, slack-jawed, as my hand hovered midair 1 foot away from what should have been my one last ticket to salvation, away from this mess. What is happening? Amongst the many deities living in the stars, there's gotta be one out there that absolutely detests my entire whole being. Adam made a hum of acknowledgement, staring at the console. Adam, if what's going on here is going on here, it better not be. Bad luck. I scoffed, gritting my teeth as I fumbled with my tool belt. Luck has nothing to do with this. Getting on my knees, I worked at the panel underneath the main console until it popped off with an unceremonious kerchunk. Adam stiffened behind me. I could only freeze in horror, attempting to comprehend what I was looking at. What was supposed to be wires and circuit boards were riddled with pulsing, inky tentacles. Now, normally I would say tentacles, you say? But I don't like tentacles in space! I don't like tentacles in deep water, and I don't like tentacles in space! No, not tentacles. Not tentacles. Worms. I don't like worms in the ocean, and I don't like worms in space. They bobbed and weaved and slid through the internal circuitry, barring any possible attempt I had to even tinker with it. Ever insistent, I decided to proceed anyway, pulling out my screwdriver and poking the closest part with the tip. They wriggled away in response. Whatever they were responded to stimuli. That's creepy as heck. A voice murmured softly next to my ear. I do not think you should touch that, Luna. My grip tightened around my screwdriver. I don't think so either. I left it open, refusing to touch it more than I had to, even with gloves on. Space worms. Space worms! I don't like it! But I had to be sure. One by one, I pried open every hatch and opening I could think of within the room. Oh my gosh! Nothing but worms. Adam fidgeted with their hands, silent all the while. Adam! For once, they seemed to understand my growing desperation. My gut roiled in disgust as I tossed the final panel away, the metal clattering against the floor. They've taken over the ship! Missing crewmates, malfunctioning AI, unknown funky organisms crawling through the ship. What the heck is anyone even supposed to do in this situation? I was never trained for this. Or I was, but that was orientation months ago, and all they told us was to press the big red freaking button. Pacing back and forth, I fidgeted with the flaps on my tool belt, muttering solutions under my breath. Luna? Espoir. Espoir? I do not see why you worry. What? Do you not see the worms everywhere? I have seen them before. Safe. My steps halted at the casual admission. You've seen them before. They're not dangerous? Safe. Secure. But you told me not to touch them. Just because safe does not mean touch. I glanced around the room, uncomfortable tingles running up my arms just looking at all the wriggling. Without the haze of panic, I could pick up on the distinct smell of burnt eggs. I held back the urge to gag. Tell me you can look at all this and not want to puke. They jerked as if I had just insulted their mother. 1, that is rude. 2, I have seen worse. The worms were spilling out to the floor and disappearing through the grates at our feet. Oh yeah, it's not one of my biggest fears, but I don't like everything that's happening right now. But there's so many. They tutted in disappointment. Are you also scared of 100 million ants? Yes! That sounds terrifying. You are giant to ants, Luna. Well, scared of ants. I will remember. What was that? Nothing. Worms, safe. Admittedly, their easygoing demeanor about the whole thing did help calm me a little. A detail they seemed pleased by. I have another life and death question! Not another one of these. Is this a hobby of yours? What animal is your favorite? Well, it's between foxes, pigs, and sheep. And also cats. Don't ignore my question with another question. Animal, now. Oh my god. Oh my various gods of different designations. I like foxes. Wonder. I will remember. Can we take it easy with the icebreakers already? But understanding Luna is so much fun. Stop calling me that. What is wrong with calling you Luna? Nothing's wrong with it. It's just not my name. So, I can call you Luna? That's not what I said. Okay. I groaned, burying my face in my hands. Do what you want. They giggled cheerfully, hopping on one foot. I will! Can we get back to the worms? If you've seen them before, then how do you deal with them? You do not. I'm sorry. You do not? Why deal with worms if safe? Just because safe does not mean let them infest the entire ship, Atom. Why not? Do I really need to explain? Actually, don't answer that! You know what? Stop talking. I'm just going to sigh. A soft crackle emitted from the speakers.
How may I assist?
I slumped in relief at hearing the monotonous voice once more. Meanwhile, Adam seemed to huff in annoyance, folding their arms after being brushed aside. Hey! I gave them a short glance of acknowledgement before turning my attention back to the ceiling. Where's the nearest station we can dock at?
The nearest station is approximately 5. Recalculating.
Uh-oh.
Apologies, I cannot finalize the distance.
What? I thought you were fixed.
I was. It seems my navigational systems have been tampered with.
Tampered? What do you mean, tampered with?
I have been tampered with.
I know, you said that, but in what way?
A different way.
If Sai had a neck, I'd be gently wringing it. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Like, changed? Altered?
Affirmative.
Who would... I looked over at Adam out of the corner of my eye, who's been staring at me this entire time. A brief second of paranoia filled my chest before I quickly quelled it. They've been with me for the past few hours. It didn't make sense. Is it the same for everything else? Does it feel like everything else has been altered, I mean?
Yes and no. Upon rebooting, several of my usual functions were inoperable. However, ever since my waking up, the loss of control has been increasing in increments since.
Wait. What? So you're telling me you're worse off than before?
Affirmative.
Why didn't you tell me sooner?
My initiative directives were also tampered with as of 60 minutes ago. I cannot do what is not asked of me.
I groaned. Loss of control? So, what does that mean? Are we being hijacked? Why would anyone even want to take over this stupid vessel? All we've got is kibble and fancy feast. We just deliver Earthian ket kibble and platinum-grade chew toys.
It is not an attack. The source is from within.
Within? Can't you see all these gosh darn worms? The worms. It must have been those gross worms crawling through the system. Then what can I do?
May I suggest interrogating?
I have suggestion! Listen, you two collective heads of knuckle. My head slowly turned to regard the newbie with an apathetic look. At this point, I would be curled up on the ground, singing show tunes from the Phantom of the Opera. Just on the ground, crying and letting the worms consume me. My head slowly turned to regard the newbie with an apathetic look. Yes, Atom? Take walk with me. My glare turned furious at their nonsense. In what 70 billion galaxies would that help? You told me these things were safe, and look at what they did. We're stranded. Despite practically blowing up in their face, their helmet tilted, nothing but jubilance radiating off their body. Walk will help. Promise. Adam, promise Luna. It will help. Now I'm getting frustrated. Take a walk with Adam or stay with Sai. All right, Adam. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's take a little walk. Maybe it was the fact that I just needed a breather, but I ended up agreeing to go with Adam. They could tell I was about to accept their invitation, considering they took a step towards me and yanked me forward by the wrist before I could even say a word. The next thing I knew, my boots were thumping against the grates behind theirs, their grip around my wrist firm without a chance for me to slip. Their excited laughter echoed as they led me down the halls, less of a brisk walk and more of a merry jog. Where are you taking me? They confidently took turns without even glancing to check. Seemed they had a destination in mind. Eventually, they stopped in front of one of the airlocks, or rather, what we used as the garbage chute. Technology wasn't sophisticated on this ship. That was something I had to accept ages ago. Every time I came into proximity around this area, I worried the creaking would finally give way to a collapsed doorway, sucking me into the abyss. I kinda understood why Adam brought me here. The view through the glass separating us from oblivion in the other room was still, admittedly, breathtaking. Though, in my case, it would be literal, considering I have to hold back a panic attack every time I caught a glimpse outside. I wasn't even terrified of space until I got this job. Some practical jokes just leave a worse impression than others. Adam doesn't notice my subtle distress, or even if they did, decided to ignore it. It is like I remember. You've been here before? Many moons ago. One day I take you swimming. Swimming? Oh, right. They meant outside. Just the very thought made my palms sweat, my heart sinking within my rib cage. Did they really get a thrill from helplessly floating out in space? It would explain why they haven't taken off their suit yet. I don't think I can. Yes, you can. It is easy. They reached for my hands, intertwining our fingers and squeezing gently through our gloves. I don't like where this is going, buddy. No, I don't. No, I don't want to do that. I bristled, discomfort gnawing at my fingertips as I jerked to free my hands. Adam reacted faster, tightening their grip and refusing to let me budge. They tilted their head, looking at me expectantly. Fine. I mustered the strength not to recoil, shuffling uncomfortably. I couldn't see their face, but I could somehow tell they were beaming. Wait, we're not doing this now, right? I don't want to go outside. They tilted their head in confusion. We are not. You are not wearing suit for swimming. Oh. I relaxed. Then, is there a reason we're holding hands next to the dumpster? Want to hold hands in the dumpster? Many reason. Can you give me, one? They hummed in thought. I remember great happiness here. Huh? You ask for reason. That is reason. Oh no. They tightened their grip, stepping forward into my space, their helmet nearly bumping my nose. I startled, leaning back. I can tolerate the hand-holding, but I'd appreciate my own bubble of oxygen, Adam. They laughed again, light and airy. I will make your oxygen for you. What? I only want to see you. Are you trying to see every single pore on my face, too? They tittered again, a smile in their voice. You are funny. I will remember. I sighed. That was barely a joke. Why do you keep saying that like you're keeping tabs on me? They paused briefly before realizing what I was referring to. I should know, must know, everything to make Luna happy. Nothing else that is matter will matter. I held my breath. Are you confessing to me? I held my breath, staring at them in bewilderment. At this point, I can't even deny it anymore. It was clear Adam was smitten. Gods know why. That's a bold confession. Not bold enough. Never enough. Okay, calm down there. Don't bust out of your space boots. Should I just ask? Listen, pal. Are you in love with me? It wouldn't hurt to ask, right? Maybe the sooner I get them to admit it, the sooner we could stop this ridiculous rendezvous and focus on what actually mattered. Are you in love with me? Aww. Their hands dropped mine as if they were hot coals. Luna. Love? Love does not begin. They lunged for my hands again, squeezing tighter and tighter. You will let me... I was just asking. You will let me? That depends. On what? If you find my friends? If you save the ship? Well, my friends are kind of jerks. Alright, maybe we should focus on the ship. Adam choked on a laugh. Save the ship, save the ship, save the ship. Easy. I am almost done cleaning. Cleaning? The lights flickered, turning to a colored hue. The lights are purple. The lights are purple. Your favorite! I blinked. The lights weren't meant to do that. What did you just do? They laughed cheerily, holding their arms out as if proud. I make ship better! You will not need Sai anymore. You will not need friends anymore. I will care for everything. Food, flesh, favorite things. Everything will be your liking, my Luna Nova. Aw, but stop! What? Ah, right. You are a tiny bit deaf. Should I repeat? No! Can you please explain what's going on? What did you just do to the ship? Where are my comrades? If I am being honest, you will not like me. Oh no. Their words sent a cold chill up my back. But that is all right. Everything is all right. This isn't all right. Nothing was ever all right with this person. Adam admired my silence for a moment before leaning closer. What is it you want, Luna? Ask, and I will give everything of me. I want to hit them with your wrench. Hit them with your wrench. No, I don't want to resort to violence just yet. We can still talk this out. All right, I guess you're getting walloped. Bam. Ugh. I braced my feet on the ground and swung, the sound of glass cracking sharp to my ears as the impact traveled down my shoulder. Adam made a sound like a strangled animalistic cry, dropping to their knees and clutching at their head. Typically, space helmets shouldn't crack under that kind of force, shouldn't they? I mean, you wallop someone hard enough with a wrench. They were supposed to be bulletproof, and you'd crack your skull sooner than you'd crack your helmet. But the company was cheap, and for once that was to my benefit. Luna! My eyes widened as I stumbled back. He's full of worms, ain't he? He's full of worms! Worms dripped out of their head, slapping wetly against the grate before joining the rest between the crevices. I already knew they couldn't possibly be part of my crew, but seeing what was essentially a suit full of worms did it for me. A spacesuit full of yandere worms. Now I've seen everything. I bang another hit for good measure. A guttural screech scattering more worms across the floor. Luna! I grip the wrench tight, abandoning their crawling form to sprint down the hull towards the emergency escape pods.
Ooh, I don't like that! Oh, that was a scary sound right there.
Luna! My name's not Luna, but I really like that name! The walls and floors creaked and groaned as I ran, contorting in shape to trip me. Ow! Shoot! He's in the walls! He's in the gosh darn walls! I righted myself with a flailing of my arms, coughing for breath as I threw open the hatch for the escape pod and clambered inside a mess of limbs. I buckle in, hand shaking as I flicked buttons and dials for the ignition, heart painfully hammering against my ribs. The countdown flickers on screen, the vessel shuddering to life. 10, 9, 8... Ah! Luna! I screamed, jumping in my seat. Adam clawed at the pod, its worm-like innards pulsing and bulging between the cracks of its shattered helm. 6. Luna! 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 5. It giggled softly, sighing in mock disapproval. 4. You know, it is useless. 3. So smart. 2. But tiny bit stupid. Hey!
I don't like how everything stopped.
The buttons and dials reset simultaneously with harrowing clicks, the pod jittering to a stop. I was left staring at Adam's cracked helmet as it chitters, its laugh sounding more insect-like. You can have tantrum. I do not mind. It leaned against the glass, helmet thudding as it tilted its head in that love-struck way characters do in cartoons. I will wait. Its fingers tapped playfully against the glass, distorting, humming, coming from the mess inside its head. I sat there frozen, my body unable to even tremble from shock. I licked my lips, refusing to look away. My voice sounded distant and muffled even through my own ears. What are you? Adam stopped its rhythmic tapping. Talkative so soon? I can't do anything else. It stared a moment before giggling, shoulders shaking with mirth. Candid. Very true. What I am. It seemed to consider a moment before knocking its helm against the glass again in excitement. Do you remember, Luna, many moons ago, on this ship? I was small, weak, and hungry. I racked my brains for an inkling of what it was talking about. A stowaway? Was it possible? I was ready to die, but I sneak into the metal box instead and find crunchy bits. Food? You found food? The edibles! Yes, joy and applause. But I find food to also find problem. Your friends, mean and hasty, surround me like moon lions. If you're going to be stealing our rations, of course they're going to be ticked. The worms writhed wildly as if in anger. But I was so small and weak. They want to crush me under boots and burn me alive. Every single face, stormy, all but yours. They paused for a moment, reminiscing. The worms calmed. You look at me. Mercy. Star among the black holes. You be nice to one space worm, and then you got millions of 'em. Their tone softened to that of reverence. Do you remember holding me in your glove? Do you remember shooting me into space?
I shot you into space?
That sounded like a death sentence rather than a rescue. And then it clicked. 6 months ago. You got into the dog food, didn't you? Oh, yeah. It perked up, nodding eagerly. Marie had found a pest, digging through the supplies and eating through half the bags. She called the whole group to catch it while I was busy repairing the hole it crawled through. Caught it in a jar, shaken and punished, just trying to survive. Chiara suggested throwing it in the engine furnace. Marcus wanted to pick it apart. The others chimed in other horrible, torturous methods out of boredom when letting it out of the airlock hatch was so easy. I ran off with it just as they started bickering. It was no bigger than my palm. I just thought you were an endangered species. In an honest, truthful way, I did. The markings matched, didn't they? It let out a chirp of amusement. You are very smart with the ship, but tiny bit stupid with the animals. Hey, quiet, you. It sighed longingly, tracing a circle over my face with a finger on the glass. I remember your smile. I cannot forget. I never forget. You saved my life, my Luna Nova. My kind answer action in spades. You are getting what you deserve.
I don't like that. I don't like those sounds. I don't like that.
The pod shuddered, screws spinning loose and dropping to the ground with muffled clinks by my boots. I watched in horror as Worm started squeezing in through the hole. Oh, no! Not Worm Boyfriend. I already have a Worm Boyfriend. His name is Varai, from the game Loveless Biker Boys. Squirming in, they land on my lap, my arms, my shoulders, the gap around my collar. I could feel them curl around my ear, brush against my cheek, prodding against my visor. Just leave my eyeballs alone, and we're cool. More and more, piling on and on. Get them off me! I unbuckled myself, kicking open the hatch as Adam stepped back in time. Bursting out of the pod, I scrambled to flick away the horrid things off my body, shuddering as the sensation still ghosted over my skin. Adam watched, hardly offended. Ha ha! I got impatient. It snatched my hand before I could finish ridding myself of the worms. The remaining ones curled round me, sticking to my clothes and skin in a way that was almost affectionate. They're probably nuzzling me with their little worm heads. Now we have our home ready. What would you like to do, my Luna Nova? Huh. Home? It nodded excitedly. Home. Ship. Right. Adam took over the Bidadari. Even now I could hear distant creaking and dull rumbling all around us, transmitting gentle tremors from under my boots, like the ship itself had come alive, breathing. My voice came out meek and numb. I want to go back to Earth. Adam shook its head. No. I am better than any planet. I can make anything. Here. It cupped its palms together, and something started wriggling underneath its gloves. Small colored pebbles rolled into its hands from the cuffs of its sleeve, growing into a pile before it presented them to me. Scrumptious! I recognized the dry pellets instantly. Is it offering me dog food? Well, it's high-grade dog food, isn't it? I gently nudged its hand back down. I can't eat that. It gasped in shock, an intense pout in its voice. Is it going to bring up that I said that I could eat anything? Why not? You can eat anything, yes? Listen, you! You told me so. This doesn't include dog food. It sighed and tutted, the worms wriggling about in annoyance. Fine, fine. I learned from Cook what to cook. I paused. Are you talking about Kiara? I dig her brain for recipe. Plentiful. What does that even... Never mind. I don't want to know. Somewhere in my confusion, Adam had hidden the kibble away. Suspiciously muffled crunching noises came from within its chest. I eyed it warily. What were those even made of? If it had a mouth, it would give me a cheeky grin. Me! My body shuddered, squinting down into its gaping head wound. The smell of burnt eggs was even more intense. I don't want to eat worms. It laughed, nonchalant. It will not taste like worms. Did not even look like worms, remember? Oh, I can also make you some foxes. I do not know what foxes is, but Luna can show me. Would you like? Your own foxes? Oh no. I briefly imagined an animal made of wriggling black worms. I ignored the nausea collecting in the back of my throat at the thought. That's fine. I pointed at its helmet. Doesn't that hurt? It made a confused noise before realizing where I was staring. It is like fresh air. Fresh air? Adam really is just worms. You're not mad at me? You said you returned favors, so... It shook its head quickly. I will never, ever! You can do the hitting again if that is what you want. What? No, don't be crazy. Then again, what did I expect from something not even human? I startled as Adam removed my glove. Oh, the little worms are making a heart. Don't make me fall for a spacesuit full of worms. Raising my hand with a firm grip, Adam nuzzled into me, carefully avoiding nicking me with the jagged edges. The smooth glass rubbed against my palm as the worms retreated within the helm, avoiding touching me directly. Even then, it let one stray worm curl around my thumb, the texture cold and foreign and strange. I could feel light vibrations on my skin as they let out a happy hum. We will sing and dance and fall in love, Luna. I cleared my throat, awkwardly, resisting the urge to tug my hand free. I think you're being a little too optimistic for your own good, Adam. It chittered happily at the sound of its chosen name on my lips. Optimist. Of course I am. You have no choice but to like me. Oh no! Its hold tightened around my wrist. And do not ever think of escaping. I will hunt you. I will find you, and we will start all over again. I gulped. What if I ask nicely? No. Stay. But stay! I swallowed, thickly, not daring to move a muscle or protest another word. I didn't think I'd be held hostage by an enamored, parasitic worm extraterrestrial thing. This whole situation was so bizarre, I expected to wake up under red lights again if I tried hard enough. This is crazy. It tutted in satisfaction. What is the saying of that melody? No es la cura, es realidad, es el amor? Since when do you speak? You used to be my angel, Espoir. The lights over our heads dimmed, the reflection off Adam's helmet illuminating the look of dread on my face. Now I can be yours. And we dance in synchronous rotation. Thank you for playing. Hot diggity dog, that was good. I like that. That was good. So I looked back at the game page, and it says there's only one ending. However, I'm really curious to see how he would react to some of these other choices that I could have made. So instead of taking a walk, like he wanted, what if I stay with the computer? My glare hardened, my voice tight with anger. No, I won't. I don't know what's wrong with you, but if you want to take a walk, go ahead. I don't need you distracting me. Adam goes quiet, the silence stretching uncomfortably thin within the space. Well? They keep staring, their helmet reflecting a bloated image of my own face, glowering back at me. Their voice barely leaked out of the speakers of their suit. Do you hate me? Aw. My glare wavered, eyes widening at the sudden question. Do I hate? Please tell me you do not. Please. 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 I don't. I don't hate you, Adam. But there's a time and a place for messing around. I'm sorry you caught me on the worst day of my career to play these games, but it just isn't the time. I slapped a hand on their shoulder in a desperate show of camaraderie. Do you understand? Adam? Buddy? Will you just take things just a little more seriously for me? They nodded slowly before their bobbing head speeds up, the momentum building up the rest of their body until they're bouncing on their toes with barely constrained energy. Oh, yes! Yes, 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 my Luna! I will help. Great. Now, let's ask Sai if the... Sai? You do not need Sai. You have me. I thought I was imagining it, but there's absolutely no way. Were they actually jealous of the AI? Well, 3 heads are better than 2. Unless you don't count Sai having a head, in which case... They don't respond, staring at me with a strange intensity hidden behind the glass. Unsettled by their gaze, I turned my back to them to face the console. I cleared my throat nervously, ignoring the hairs raising at the back of my neck. Anyways, I think a good start would be to check our current coordinates. Sai, could you pull them up onto the screen? I waited expectantly for the static-riddled affirmative to respond. Sai? Is it busted again? E! Oh!
Warning, warning, warning.
A loud creaking moan reverberated through the room, my eyes darting around frantically. Sai? What's going on? Stop talking to that stupid voice. I am right here. Holy macaroni! The floor shuddered violently, sending tremors up my legs so vicious it made my teeth clank together until my jaw ached. A nasty metallic scraping pierced my ears as the rusted floor panels started to part, sliding and grinding against each other, shifting aside to reveal a monstrous sea of worms crawling underneath my feet. Oh dear! I screamed at the sight as I backed up against the console. The only thing separating my being from the rest of the wriggling mass was the flimsy metal grating underneath my boots. Adam stood on another, calmly watching me with a tilt of their helmet. Not worry, I will never hurt you, but your friends. I could hear the lilt of joy in their voice as their fingers twitched. I will get them. Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like any of that, Charlie. I don't like anything that's happening right now. Oh! Wait, let me get a better picture of this so I can scream properly. I don't like it. I don't like it. Not one bit. Nope, nope, nope. This is why you never, ever, ever go into space.
From the writhing mass rose several mounds of flesh surrounding me in a taunting circle. The overwhelmingly heavy stench of burnt eggs, rotten meat, and wet copper invaded my nostrils and clogged my throat. I choked on bile, seeing the desecrated corpses of my comrades, their bodies twisted into grotesque pulsing pillars of flesh and sinew. Flecks of dissolving teeth and spongy drained eyeballs hung loose against their flaps of skin. Their fingers were twisted, nails missing from their beds and knuckles scraped down to the bone. Melted guts draped like bloody curtains, along with their forms, hollow and dripping with residue.
Isaac? Isaac Clarke? Help!
Are you happy, Luna? Are you happy to see your friends? My muscles tensed, my brain urging me to do something.
Flee?
I couldn't will myself to do anything. My eyes screwed shut, my breaths coming in rapid and shallow and panicked as my gut churned. Gagging, I folded over myself as the contents of my stomach spilled past the gaps in my fingers, my gloves dirtied with acidic chunks.
Ooh, I don't like that sound! Ooh, I felt that in my spine!
Seeing my distress, Adam flinched, quickly burying my dead friends underneath the grates once more.
Well, you know, when I picked this option, I was just kind of expecting him to pout a little bit. I didn't think that option would lead me to seeing the dead space version of my crew.
My eyes fluttered open as I trembled and shook to catch my breath. Luna? I swallowed thickly, my breaths hitching and getting stuck in my throat. I could still taste the sourness in my mouth, my eyes watering from the memory. What are you? They had the decency not to laugh this time, looking at their feet. If I tell you, you will not like me. They looked up, the smile returning to their voice. But you will understand.
The heck I will!
They tittered lightly. You will. You are angry at me now. I understand. But your heart is kind and tender and sweet. Yes, all these things are true. But you know, I still carry a big stick. My face twists into a sneer. That just sounds like I'm next on the menu. Oh yeah. They give a contemplative hum before letting out a shy giggle. I'm sure you will be delicious. What? Toothsome. But no, you are worth more to me than a meal. I don't even know who you are. They tittered again with that bird-like laugh. No matter. I am done cleaning. What? Purple. The lights flickered, turning to a colored hue. Static sparked from the speakers, Adam's voice loudly surrounding me with unabashed glee. Your favorite color! The lights weren't meant to do that. They took over the ship. My head spun. They stepped closer. And that is only one small thing I can do for you, my Luna Nova. Food, flesh, favorite things. You only need to ask. No sigh, no friends, only me. I stared at them, teeth grit. Come closer. They straightened in delight, quickly approaching me without hesitation. What is it, my Luna? Let's see, hit him with your wrench or hit him with your wrench. I don't know,
choices. Wapow! I braced my feet on the ground and swung, the sound of glass cracking sharp to my ears as the impact traveled down my shoulder. Adam made a sound like a strangled, animalistic cry, dropping to their knees and clutching at their head. Typically, space helmets couldn't crack under that kind of force, but I was really, really, really mad. Alright, this is basically the same. Oh yeah, what if... I mean, it's gonna lead to the same ending anyway, but what if I don't try to free my hands when he's making his confession? Let them. The contact was out of the blue, but at this point I've come to accept my crewmates' quirks. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed to this nonsense in the first place. Maybe the stress of the unknown was making me lenient. I couldn't see their face, but I could somehow tell they were beaming. Aww. Instead of going straight for the, "Are you in love with me?" what if I ask something else? There was no way I could just ask that if they were in love with me, because clearly they are. The utter and absolute humiliation my body would experience on the chance I was wrong would combust me on the spot. Why do you keep calling me Luna? What is wrong with Luna? It's cute. Hey, ever since I was little and watched Sailor Moon and saw Luna the cat, Luna's been like one of my favorite names. It's cute. Their whole body thrummed with barely contained joy. Luna, Luna, Luna. Their grip grew tighter. Why do I call you Luna? They took a good while to respond, staring in silence. Difficult to explain. Beauty cannot compare. Oh, maybe they did have a thing for me after all. Against all odds, my cheeks grew warmer. I played it off like I didn't care that it sounded like a compliment. My face looks like a moon to you? Yes. Breathless. The others do not deserve you. Their voice had lowered to a whisper, a reverence in their tone I found unsettling. I will rot them until there is nothing left. What? Aha! Nothing, my Luna. Unlike this ship and everyone in it, you are the real angel. Angel? Were they talking about the ship's name? Oh yeah. Bidadari. Bidadari. Did mean angel in some language. I couldn't remember. Ever since the expansion of the intergalactic travel, there were too many languages to keep track of, including those outside of Earth. Oh, I am done cleaning. I snapped out of my thoughts. Cleaning? Purple. I guess we're here. On a spaceship, full of dog food and infatuated worms. At least the room is purple. That was good. That was really good. I am just blown away at the writing of this developer. If you haven't seen it, they've also made a game called Mushroom Oasis, which also has excellent writing and an excellent story and an excellent character that you will become infatuated with. There will be a link in the description to this game where you can follow the developer or play this game yourself. And if you had an amazing time like I did, be sure to like, subscribe, or interact in any way that is comfortable for you. And also, we are very, very close to hitting 100,000 subscribers! Well, I have to go. My new worm husband is preparing some kibble for dinner. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.